Welcome, and I hope you had a nice week. You know, this is the next to last show that we're going to be doing here on Saturday night, because on the 26th we go into daytime. I know. That means you want to watch all the show and stay tuned, because you're seeing the end of an era. Does that seem possible?
Well, if we were going off, that would be terrible. But since we're going on to something else, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of really interesting calls tonight, but I wondered if we could talk about something that happened to me on the way to the studio.
What happened
for
to
a
you
second.
on the way to the studio?
I was driving on the freeway, and I looked over, and I have a pickup truck, so I'm a little bit higher than most cars, and I looked down, and I saw a man smiling at me in his car with his overhead light on, so the whole inside of his car was lit up, and he was masturbating while he was grinning at me, and it astounded me, and I immediately looked away, and I pulled up. You know, I went real fast, and I switched lanes, and he followed me, and he continued. You know, and I wouldn't look over, but I could see the fender of his car, and I tried to slow down because I thought, well, if I look at his license plate, then he'll get scared. And he actually slowed down as much as I did. And finally, I picked up my car phone and looked like I was dialing, and that scared him. And he dropped back and pulled off. But I just wondered, what is that? What's the mechanism that makes that person do that?
Well, it comes under the title of exhibitionism. And sometimes it's people trying to get caught. Sometimes it's people having great anxiety over self-esteem. This may shock you, but one of the most common places for people to expose themselves is in the library. And I have seen a lot of young men exposing themselves in libraries just at the time they were about to commit to a relationship or about to get married. It's as if they're saying, I'm not ready for this, and I'm going to prove it by doing something bizarre. But this business, there's much more of that going on than you know. I've had a lot of callers to my radio show who are the perpetrators, who will park near school playgrounds in the hope that a young girl on the way past will see them. And it's really a way of including into your fantasy some safe object as close as you can without actually being involved in it.
So pulling off and just getting out of their way is the thing to do.
You did the right thing.
It was very disconcerting.
How?
Well, I didn't know how far he was willing to go. I mean, is this a guy who's going to try to pull me off the freeway? You just don't, you know, it's someone obviously not completely in control of their situation.
Well, it's a control situation, it's true. But did you feel in danger?
No, but I felt a little threatened by the fact that when I would speed up, he would speed up.
The other thing you can do, and you just have to remember one of the things that breaks their concentration is lean on your horn and make a lot of noise and draw a lot of attention to it so that the person is completely disconcerted. And the other thing is, if you're at all suspicious of anyone in traffic, leave enough space between you and the car in front so that you can suddenly cut out of line and find a space. The moment you have a fear, always look for an exit path. Not good.
No.
Are you able to do the show, Donnie?
Well, yeah. As I was driving to work, I was thinking, now what are David and I going to talk about tonight? And I looked over, here was this guy, and I went, well, I guess I have something to talk about.
Too bad the two of you didn't have car phones together. We could have done the whole show from the road.
Here, our first call is someone who I think you're going to find really interesting. Her name is Cinnamon, and she's on line 9. She's having some real problems with her stepfather.
Cinnamon.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How old are you?
17.
Why are you calling?
I just feel really confused because I've had a relationship with my stepfather.
Are you having sex with him?
Yes.
How long has this been going on?
Since a little bit after I was 15.
Since you were 15?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Say again?
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah. Why are you calling tonight?
I feel really strongly towards him, and he's been asking me kind of how he wants me to maybe leave my mother, and I can't
Cinnamon, this is one spice in your life you don't need, huh?
Definitely.
How much time do you spend thinking about this?
A long time. And
I mean, what part of your day is consumed with thoughts about him?
everything, a lot of it when I'm trying to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And I or when my mother's around, I feel like I'm just betraying her.
Well, you are, but you are. You don't feel like you're betraying her. You are betraying her.
But I mean, isn't it right for me to love someone too? I mean, obviously, I don't know.
Wait. That sounds like a piece of logic that you've been fed by him.
I think he really cares, but I mean, I can't do that to my
If he
mom.
really cares, he wouldn't put you in this position. This is the worst position a person can be placed in. I mean, you're in a position now that you can't tell your mother about it because of your involvement without making her feel that you have cheated on her, right?
Yeah.
And you're feeling horrible, right?
I feel very. I'm so confused. I can't. I haven't slept or eaten, and I don't know what to do. And
Okay.
How do I get out of this? I don't know any way how.
First of all, you cut it off. Can you do that?
How can I don't know how I could be around him. And I mean, after this, I'm thinking about me just leaving.
Well, that may be an answer, you know. But the main thing, you have to cut it off.
Okay.
Because the damage that it's doing to you is significant. I mean, the confusion and the preoccupation and the guilt and the pain, I can't imagine how you can live in the same house.
I can't.
What's happened to your grades over the years?
Well, I used to do really well in school, and I haven't been going much recently at all.
Why?
Because when I'm at school, all I do is think about my problems. and
Wait, you're being seriously damaged by this relationship. This man is guilty of statutory rape. And how long has he been your stepdad?
For 5 years.
Since you were 12.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is as wrong as can be, isn't it?
I know.
Okay.
If I cut it off, do you think I should still tell my mom because there's just that deceit, or I mean, do you think it'd be better if I just didn't say anything about it?
Well, the first thing is cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to do that. Then the next thing you've got to do is you really need, and you have to ask your mother for this, and him for it. You need to see a therapist. You can't do this one alone. Because the next steps are going to be very, very dangerous, and he's going to be putting a lot of pressure on you. And your guilt's going to be building up, and you're already depressed, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is not what we want from you.
Okay.
All right. So first, break it off, and second, you need to be in therapy.
Okay.
Because, you know, you're going to suffer with this for a while. I mean, it's already doing a terrible job on you. It's changed you. You're no longer a child. You've become, you're an abused person.
Well, I'll do my best.
Say again?
I'm going to try. I mean, I've got to get my life back in order.
Right. And this man has done a terrible thing to you.
Okay.
And he would go to jail if you told.
I know. Okay.
So he should pay for the therapy.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, Cinnamon. I'm sorry you're going through this kind of pain. It's amazing, Dottie. Hi, Dottie. It's amazing.
Hi, David.
Hi. It's amazing the amount of pain this kid is feeling. And when kids are abused, they often feel because they're there that they are the guilty party and have no right.
You know what?
So we're going to refer her to someone so that in the booth they'll pick up this line and do that.
In the 2 years that we've been doing this show, that it's probably the 10th or 15th call that we've had like that. And it's
That
just,
we've let through.
yeah, it's so tragic that it's almost hard to
Well-
just listen to her voice talking. There's so much
Well,
pain in it.
see, what I hear is not just so much the pain, but the confusion. She has been manipulated. You know, there's a thing that's called a loving molestation, where someone takes a child and molests the child in a loving way, so the child anticipates the molestation and looks forward to it and doesn't realize that this arousal is inappropriate, and their whole life shifts. You lose your childhood when you become an aroused child. Who's next?
We have on line 7, we have Carrie, who's having a lot of problems with her grandmother and her aunt.
Carrie?
Yes,
How old are you, Carrie?
I'm 11.
Why are you calling?
I'm calling because I've had problems for 11 years now with my grandmother.
All
and
your
my
life,
aunt.
huh? All your
Yeah.
life. Problems with your grandmother. And,
Uh-huh.
and your aunt?
Huh?
And what? And you said your aunt too?
What was that?
You said and your aunt as well.
Yeah, my aunt, yeah.
Your aunt. Okay, I'll call it an aunt. What's the problem?
Well, my grandmother really hasn't really paid attention to me or my sisters. The other side of the family has boys, all boys and one girl, and she cares more about the boys, and she could care less about us.
Where's your mother in all this?
Well, my mom it's my dad's mom, and she's real mean to my mom, and they don't care about my mom either.
But you live with who?
I live with my mom and my dad.
And how often do you see your grandmother and aunt?
Well, we live down in Temecula, and they live in Orange County.
Uh-huh.
So I haven't really seen them very often, but in April they had a wedding, and she had 12 bridesmaids, and she didn't even ask if my mom or dad wanted to be in the wedding.
Well, there's bad blood there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't like each other.
Uh-huh.
And the problem is you're the innocent bystander, but there's something about you that they don't like, and namely, it sounds like that's because you're your father's child,
Yeah,
which is totally unfair
it is.
and totally unreasonable. Do you like your grandmother?
Well, she's not real nice to me.
I didn't ask that.
She's
When you think of your grandmother, do you have loving feelings for her?
not really. Not
Okay,
the
so
way
let-
she's treated me.
But she's never treated you any differently.
No.
Okay, so you've never really had loving feelings for her.
No, not really.
Okay. Now, Carrie, you have to understand something. You have an unlovable grandmother, and she's never going to change. I know that's sad, and I know that you'd like to have a grandmother who you thought was terrific and a lot of fun and thought you were just the best and invited you over and visited you and sent you presents and little things that she found in stores and was real nice, but she's never done that.
Yeah.
She's never going to. And because your grandmother is a miserably unhappy woman. And you have to accept that. The damage that's being done to you is not being done to you by your grandmother right now. It's being done to you by expecting her to be different. She is exactly the way she is. She's never going to change. Got that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean?
That I understand she's never going to change, and
Give up.
yeah.
Does your mother have a mother and father?
Yeah, me and my mom's mom have a great relationship.
And you love her?
Uh-huh.
And you feel good about her?
Yeah, I love her. She's,
Okay, so 1 out of 2's not all bad.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have one grandparent that you really love, who loves you back. I think that's terrific. But you don't have another one. And also, if your grandmother, the way she is, the one that you don't like, started to get involved in your life and paying attention to you, do you think it would be a pleasant situation?
No, not really. I don't think
You-
she'd be the type to actually.
But if she did, you couldn't get rid of her, and you couldn't get rid of her fast enough. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So things are really working out better than you realize.
Yeah.
See? Does that feel any better?
A little.
A little. It's sad, though, right?
Yeah.
Give it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your grandmother's never going to be the kind of grandmother that you want her to be. So don't try,
Okay.
okay?
And I was wondering, I wanted to write her a letter, but I don't know if I should.
What would you ask for? For her to be nicer?
No, I don't know. I tell her after
Tell her that she's mean?
well, after my aunt called my mom a tramp at her wedding, I really wanted to write him a letter because my dad did talk to her, and my aunt said she was sorry for me to hear that. She didn't say she was sorry for saying it, and it hurt me.
The point is she's not sorry for saying it.
Yeah.
And you can send her a note that you felt it was really awful for her to say that. But the point is, all you're going to do is make matters worse. But you can say it if you want. The chances of your aunt ever doing anything for you that's going to be good are remote. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. You got a mother and father who love you. You got grandparents who love you. Stay with the people who love you. The people who don't love you are not going to love you. And it's a lesson that we all have to learn. The people who love you already do love you. And that's what you have to settle for. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. And Dottie, what was this about? Calls that you wanted to have people make?
Well, we lost Cinnamon, and I was wondering if she's still watching the show, if she would call back to us so that we could give her some referrals.
Okay.
Also, 2 weeks ago, we talked to a guy named Tom who called in and had been sodomized by his father when he was quite young and found photographs. I mentioned this last week, but it was at the end of the show. If Tom is watching, I wonder if he would call us also, because we have a referral for him.
Oh, good.
We have Sunny on line 13. She helped her husband to die, and now she's having some real problems with it.
Sonny,
Yes, Dr. Viscott.
how old are you?
I'm 62.
What was wrong with your husband?
My husband had prostate cancer that had metastasized, and it was practically everywhere in his body. He had bone cancer.
To the bones. That's extraordinarily painful.
Very painful, and they never diagnosed it to begin with. And then when he kept going back, they told him he was fine, and he kept going back telling him the pain was terrific, and they wouldn't help him. They wouldn't give him any tests. I finally had to admit him through emergency. It took 28 days in the hospital, where, because of the pain, he had 2 major cardiacs. And the thing is, to make this more clear to you, I've always had a very, very strong belief, and I've never questioned it myself. I've lived by it, that you have many lives, you perfect yourself, you go on, and this is what it's all about. But when I brought my husband home for one reason, to euthanize him, so that he wouldn't be in his misery anymore because they would do nothing for him.
Did you discuss this with him?
He was beyond discussion. We had discussed it many times before, though.
And what was his opinion?
His opinion was, please do not use any kind of heroic ways to keep me alive.
But had you discussed the actual business of...
Euthanizing?
Yeah.
No, but his agony was so intense.
Had he suggested to you that he didn't want to go on?
No, he didn't suggest it. It was just that by that time, the morphine was practically constant, and they put a main line in, and then they were going to put him in a ward.
So he was on it was an IV drip,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and you just let it run in.
Yeah. But when I brought him home, because I knew he'd want to be home, my nurse, who was probably the most beautiful woman I've ever met, this is the frightening part.
What?
We knew what we were going to have to do.
Yes.
We had a full bag of full-strength morphine. It was emptied directly to the heart. It didn't kill him. The air bubble that was injected did not kill him. Now, he is semi-comatose. He is not feeling this. believe me. But we knew that if he came out of it again, he'd be in agony again. And we didn't want him to come back out again. And after those two things, plus all the pain, wasn't pain medicine, there was another medication there that he had. None of these things worked. None of them. He was coming back. And what has frightened me so is that what I want to know is that he is all right. This is entirely against all my beliefs all my life.
I understand, but how did you complete the act?
Suffocation.
With the pillow?
Yes.
When he was comatose?
Yes.
In the presence of the nurse?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How difficult?
That part was not difficult at all.
It wasn't?
No.
Well,
I mean, it was difficult to do it, yes, but I mean, it wasn't difficult for him.
No, I know, but that's just so difficult.
The difficulty was in, no, at that point, no. I did not want to see that man have one more second of pain. The pain was so horrendous that it was just all-consuming, and I could see no reason. By then, everything, he was going to die. Why make him come to again and go through more pain?
Mm-hmm. They didn't get you. The morphine that you had was not a lot of morphine.
It was a full bag.
I'm sorry, it wasn't a lot of morphine. When it's done, do you know euthanasia is practiced widely everywhere?
I do know, yes.
You know that, and that what we're talking about in public is a sham, because it goes on all the time.
Of course it is. They leave, well, most people have to do what I did.
Well, it's not even done that way. It's just that a member of the family is told that if the drip goes in too fast, it
But
could
it
be...
didn't kill him.
Well, they make it much stronger than that. Listen, what are you going through? I mean, why are you having pain now?
I'm having pain because I can't fully believe that he's all right. Why was it so hard for him to die?
What do you think could be behind that?
I don't know.
You think it was not his time?
Well,
yeah, that's what you think.
what happened the next day, there were two incidents in the hospital, which I will make very quick. After the first cardiac, he came back. He came back beautifully, which was rather amazing. And when he went into the second cardiac, he looked at me and said, "Not yet. I have something I have to do." Now, there were 12 more days after that he lived. And after he died, the next night, I was sitting in here in my room and thinking, trying to figure this out. And it was if everything were cleared away. And I heard his voice. I don't know if it were my own mind or whether it was really Hal. And he said, "It's okay. I did what I had to do, and it's okay."
I suggest you accept that.
I've tried to.
What keeps you from accepting it?
Guess I just, like everybody else, want that one last final. I don't know if it were me doing that or if it were Hal.
Why don't you just accept it?
I've asked myself that for 3 years.
But it's 3 years?
Yeah. I've gotten on with my life.
Well, not really.
Well, I mean, I'm working and I'm...
Well. Come on.
I know.
It's time to accept that this was what you elected to do. It's what he and you discussed, and it was in the framework of your life the next step that you had to take.
Yeah, I guess so. It's pretty hard step to take.
I understand, and I know that's what I said when I said it was difficult, because there are so many things to come back. Have you been to the grave?
No, he was, I had him cremated, and there again, it's almost so many things that have happened when I went over and picked up the beautiful urn. I put it in the front seat, I packed it, I did everything so it'd be okay. And my brakes locked. And
Yeah.
when they locked, coming home with this, the thing went flying off, hit the floor of the car, but on the way, it hit the ashtray or ashes on the floor, and I just was thinking, I can hear him now saying, my God, you can't even get me home right. Look what you've done. I mean, it just,
Well, it sounds like you had a loving relationship with the man,
we had a
and
crazy relationship.
and that what you acted out of was love.
Oh, yeah.
And the time has come to forgive yourself and accept what is as having happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been told. I just,
Let go, Sonny.
okay.
It's-
Coming from you, that means a lot.
Let go.
All right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Take care.
Will do.
Ah. You know, sometimes life feels like an Albert Brooks movie, you know, with everything going wrong. But only in a situation where there's a lot of love can that kind of reaction happen to the spilling of the ashes and the urn of ashes.
Well, and it was such a relief, this story. While I was listening to her, I thought I was going to cry. I felt so sad for her. And then she tells that part of it, and you want to laugh out loud because it's such a relief from her agony.
And it's, you know, this, although no one wants to ever talk about this subject, it's very, very common. Almost every family that has a terminally ill relative goes through some phase of this. And it's something I think we all have to look at with open eyes and decide where do we really stand on this issue. And how much right does a person have to, when it's all hopeless and there's nothing but pain and the quality of life is deteriorated, doesn't a person have a right to say, I choose not? Who do we have?
We have a call back, Lori and Linda, who called us about a year ago. Two lesbian women who were going to be getting married now have still not gotten married, I guess. They're having some problems. They're on line 16.
Lori?
Yes, I'm here.
Linda?
Hi, David.
Hi. Okay, who wants to start?
I will.
Okay, that's Lori?
No, Linda.
That's Linda.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. I just wanted to thank you, for helping us out when we were breaking up. And we did break up, and we found some good points, good things to learn. And right now, we're just having some problems with the kids.
How many kids again?
2,
Ages?
10 and 11, the girls.
Both girls, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And what's the problem?
Well, I'm having some problems with her daughter, representing I'm an authoritative figure, and daughter rebels, to my authority.
Okay. Is that the main problem?
Well, yeah, I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure that, yeah.
What kind of, give me an idea of the kind of authority she rebels against.
Well, when rules and standards are set by her mom, by Lori, I'm here to enforce them, and
Why doesn't Lori enforce her own standards, Lori?
I'm at work during this time. This is after-school evening dinner, bath time, that sort of thing that Linda's here in charge of.
Okay, give me an idea of the kind of things you're enforcing. Give me some of the rules that get broken. 11-year-olds have a way about them, if you recall being 11.
This one's 10,
Well,
but
that whole
the
age.
other one's 11, yeah.
What you have are pre-adolescent girls.
Right.
There's a certain crazy energy that's starting to build.
That sounds right.
Why don't you think of them as being in a state of prolonged premenstrual tension?
Oh, no.
Yes, that's what you got there.
Oh, no.
And if only they could have a period, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if there was some end in sight.
All right, so what you have are kids who are not terribly rational at times.
Okay.
All right, so what is it you would like to accomplish?
I think we'd like for, Linda to have that authority that she needs. And as far as me and April, I get so easily disappointed in her that, I guess I'd like to find some peace with that so that I'm not so critical, so that she measures up a little better, if you will. There's a lot of conflict around here.
I hear that, but what is it you want from her? I mean, you're saying general terms, you want her to be better, huh?
Yeah.
But what is it she isn't doing?
It seems like she's not putting a lot of effort behind anything that she does, her schoolwork, anything she does around the house. It feels like,
What's the use?
Yeah, it's almost simpler just to do it yourself, or
All right.
because you got to make her go back and do it again, and you got to check up on everything, and
Is
it's a
it
constant battle.
is it sort of that she's given up on something?
Sort of that she doesn't try. I don't know whether she's tried and given up.
Does she have any contact with her dad?
Not her original father, no. I mean, not very much.
Is she having any difficulty explaining your relationship to her friends?
Not that I know of.
Is
They
she?
seem to be all right about it. Both the girls do.
They're comfortable?
They seem to be, yes.
They understand it?
As much as they can, yes.
As much as they can, what does that
Well,
mean?
I mean, we're not going into any detail about what we do in there behind the locked door, but they know we're in there together, and we've talked about it, directly, that we're gay and that people might not think that was right, and they might say things, and they've had some experiences with that, the kids in the neighborhood, but it's
Yeah.
never been anything painful, I don't think.
You mean you hope?
No, they've pretty much come up and told us and laughed about it, so
But
it
that
didn't seem
doesn't-
to be painful.
But, when you're 11 or 10 years old, one of the things you don't want to be is different.
Well, that might be right.
Okay. And one of the things that your kids are different. Do they have friends over?
Not
Too much.
too much.
Not too much. And the reason?
It just doesn't work out logistically, mostly. Sometimes they have friends over, but after school they have homework, they have a lot to do.
Okay. They may be having some difficulty with the family structure being different. And they may both be yearning for an easier family to integrate into the community. It may be that you've explained that, in fact, they're different and that other people may not accept them, but that's very different from them having the experience of, gee, we are different, because the last thing they want to be is different. You know, if you know anything about Japanese society, where in school one of the favorite sayings is, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. That's very close to the way kids feel, especially in pre-adolescence, before rebellion takes place. They want to be like everyone else and not stick out. And they may be staging a rebellion against you out of the anger for having a difference that they cannot cope with. So although you may feel that they're coping, you have to provide them with a continuous complaint department that they can voice their negativity about and not internalize them, because the partner who's being picked to get angry at is the partner who's not a father, for example. And if only you were, they wouldn't have the problem. They may love you and accept you, but you make them different, and because of that, there's anger. Speak about it more forthrightly, bring it up just like this, and talk about it. You'll be amazed at just being able to say that they feel different and they hurt because of it, how much insight and inroads into the problem that'll give you. We'll be right back. You stay tuned. No one wants to be different, and our feelings are what make us all the same. Welcome back. We have a lot of interesting calls. Dottie, who's next?
We have L on line 10, and very disturbed about these, a lot of rumors.
L?
Yes.
Speak up, please.
Oh, hi, David.
Yeah.
Hi.
How old are you, L?
I'm 23.
What rumors?
I've been hearing a lot of rumors about earthquakes that are supposed to happen either tomorrow or the next day, and I'm a student at a college, and it just seems like I can't turn a corner at school without hearing about these earthquakes.
Have you heard them anyplace else but at school?
No, just at school, and they haven't been on the news or in the papers, and I'm starting to feel like I don't know whether everyone here has just been subject to a really strong rumor or
Well,
whether...
it's called a local disturbance.
Yeah, I don't know whether, if it's not in the news because they feel...
Wait a second. It has nothing to do with the earthquake. It has everything to do with the school that you are in.
Well, why would this rumor get started just out of no basis then? I mean...
Sometimes you'll hear about kids in the gym overcome by toxic fumes.
Uh-huh.
And they'll go in there and they'll investigate, and there'll be no toxic fumes.
Uh-huh.
And what's the story? The story is everybody panicked because they thought they were toxic fumes.
Right.
Young people are suggestible, and rumors travel quickly, especially in an environment where everyone's worried about something and needs some diversion.
Right.
Right?
Well, I just, everyone is saying, 9.0 earthquake, 9.0 earthquake, and
9.0 earthquake.
yeah,
Hey, Al,
yeah,
don't make yourself nuts. This is totally BS.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll sleep through it, and no one will notice anything.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
There's no earthquake.
Okay.
There may be one, but it won't have anything to do with your rumors.
Okay, I hope so.
I know it.
All right.
You take care.
Thanks, David.
Bye-bye. They should all be so easy. Rumors. Go ahead. What?
On line 15, I have Tina, who has taken a job that would not be her first choice.
Tina.
Hi, Dr. Viscott. How are you?
Good. Was that said very nicely?
Oh, absolutely.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
And what's the job?
Well, actually, it correlates to Dottie's encounter this evening. It's the fantasy sex line. And at first, I was calling concerned about a girl who you received a phone call from last week who was intending to meet one of her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I tried like hell to get through to you to say, do not do it. But,
I tried to convey that.
well, thank you. I know. And it got me thinking, and Dottie, forgive me for diverting to her, but I empathize with your situation, and that is the reason I'm calling. I'm wondering if these sex lines are perpetuating encounters. Where do you draw the line? I get calls as diverse as yours, some very romantic fantasies and some quite psychopathic ones.
Well,
I feel like you, Dr. Scott, I swear to you. And I am major in psych, but I'll tell you something, and this is for all the women out there, because there's a power, there is a power we have in dealing with these men, in the sense that I like to call it phone foreplay. I use your line. What's really going on in your life? Because these men are not out to have an orgasm. These are men with low self-esteem,
who are lonely,
businessmen, rich, yes, horny, who isn't? But the more taboo the fantasy, the further removing from love they are becoming. And
wait, you're way off. The question that you raise is, is there a chance you may be doing a bad thing?
Yeah, I like
the
it.
way,
Yeah.
slow it down, turn it down.
I'm New Yorker.
I know, I can hear it. Are you doing a bad thing? Don't come at me with an immediate answer. Are you doing a bad thing? You're stuck.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If you're stuck, there's enough doubt to lower your own self-esteem.
Oh.
And that
You hit it. There you go.
Yeah, I know. Stop.
No.
Shh. Everything's okay, but you're in the wrong business.
Of course. Do you
Don't
think
be so-
it is a good business?
It's a good business. It's a bad life.
Oh, it's not my chosen.
Then don't do it.
How you pay the bills, Dr. Viscott?
By believing in yourself and not doing something that lowers your self-esteem, so when opportunity does knock, you don't feel deserving enough to take advantage of it.
May I add one thing?
Go.
This might be denial. What a look. But I do not.
Go ahead.
I do not. How do I explain this to you?
Don't explain denial. Just admit it and let me.
Oh, get on to the next call.
Yeah.
No, that I do have help
I didn't say
people.
that.
Oh,
that
I
was
did.
your low self-esteem right at that instant.
Oh.
I would never cut you off without finishing. But you didn't feel deserving. And here was an opportunity to get some more from me, which your self-esteem stepped in the way of, just the same way it's stepping in the way of you getting better in life and kept you from having something.
Oh, doctor, I have a lot.
You just are not hearing, and you're getting glib on the phone talking to me as if I were one of your callers. You called me, kiddo. Slow it down, and don't say you're a New Yorker, and it is denial. Let me help you. This is wrong for you, period.
I guess my question was there any way to help these people who I do speak
Get your
to?
degree in psychology, kiddo.
Cut and dry.
Cut and dry. Either that or start treating them on the phone.
That's where I was heading.
Get away from the sex and say,
That's what I said.
and start talking about loneliness
That's
and
what
hurt.
I do. That's why I've
And
never,
don't talk about sex.
I don't. Oh, Dr. Viscott. Well, and on this note, that was the whole purpose of this call, is that 99% of my calls never reach orgasm. We do talk about.
I don't know whether that's good or bad. You may be sending all these people frustrated out into the world and doing incomplete psychotherapy. I don't think this is good for you, period. I think your sojourn there should terminate.
Yes.
Okay?
All right. I just hope maybe along the line I helped one or two.
That's what you're unpacking your heart with, to quote Shakespeare.
Ah. Thank you, Doctor.
See Hamlet's soliloquy. Must I, like a whore, unpack my heart with words?
Oh, that's just too solid flesh would know.
No, that's another act. Stay with it, and you're laughing about it.
Oh, not at it.
About it is what I'm saying. Don't laugh. Do something that allows your self-respect to blossom. It's very easy to make a buck if you do things that'll destroy you, but then what do you do with the buck that you made? I don't know. Stay with us. It's funny how shows take shape. You never really have an idea of where they're going. And all of a sudden you have people come in with just the strangest things.
You know, here was this woman who was so educated and so articulate, and then one of the last things she said was that 99% of her phone sex customers don't reach orgasm. So I was thinking, if she really needs that job, I hope that her boss was not listening and recognizing her voice, because that's probably one of the
I think her
giving.
boss only cares about the length of time the person is on the phone.
But don't you get callbacks in that business? I think
I
that's
never
how that
made a
works.
call. We ought to call one of those people on the air. No, we ought to
No,
not.
I
I'm
don't think
sorry.
we should do
Sorry about that. Everybody in the booth, I know, went, oh my God, what's he going to do now? Go ahead, what's up?
But that's their job in the booth. On line 8, we have Kelly, who's having her boyfriend's blaming her for some things that he did to himself, I think.
Kelly,
Hi,
how old are you, Kelly?
I'm 22.
Fill me in. What's going on?
Well, about 2 weeks ago, my ex-boyfriend, I guess you'd call it now, was caught for dealing drugs. And we'd been together, I guess, about 5 years, and, you know, he's done this off and on for the whole time we've been together. And he's done a lot of things to me, like he's had my car stolen twice, and
Why?
well, his reasoning for it was just that, you know, that was his way of, I guess, showing me that he loved me, that, you know,
Wonderful.
he was hurt. Well, he was hurt, and that, you know,
How wonderful.
yeah, he didn't
What-
know how to express his anger in any other way.
This is very primitive.
Yeah,
So you've been with him since you were 17 years old.
right.
Why?
I really don't know. I mean, that's part of my, you know, my question too. My problem is, I don't know. I mean, I know that I love him, and, you know, he was my first love and all that, but he is blaming me for turning him in.
Did you
And-
turn him in?
No, I didn't.
So why is he blaming you for turning him in?
I really don't know. I think he really doesn't have anybody to blame, so he's kind of pointing the finger at me. We had broken up about 3 days before he got caught, and, you know, I guess his sister went to jail too, and you know, I was friends with his sister, and, you know, she says that everybody's blaming me. You know, they're all saying, well, you know, he said that you did it, and so we believe that you did it.
How pathetic, huh?
Yeah, really.
You have an extraordinarily immature boyfriend
Yeah.
who is sociopathic, who makes up stories, and when the heat's on, he steals and acts out, or he gets paranoid and projects onto you.
Right.
Whatever you want to call it, I don't call it love. Maybe it's time, after all these years, to find out what you're like out of his presence and out of his influence. I think the time's come to let go of him. And don't make a big deal out of it.
Well, I mean, I'm having a real hard time
Of course.
getting over him.
Of course, because he's the first boyfriend. You were there for 5 years. But you've got to let go. This is absolutely no good for you.
Well, also, I'm kind of living in fear. I mean, he's
What does he
going-
threaten to do?
Well, he hasn't really said, I'll have you killed or anything like that, but he's got some kind of crooked friends that I'm sure would have no problem knocking me off or, whatever, but...
Well, the point is, you tell him, look, I didn't do this to you.
I tried to
I never
explain it.
would do this to you, but I'm going to tell you what I am going to do to you if this doesn't stop. I'm going to go to the police and say that you've threatened me with my life. So it stops, and it stops now. Period. Because, you've done a lot of crazy things before. I just can't be around it anyhow. You've convinced your sister that I'm the bad guy. I'm not. So it stops now, or you're going to complicate this with an attempted murder rap.
Yeah, see, I understand all that, but...
But you have to... He'll back down if you show an edge. The point is, you've been in the head of a 17-year-old girl whose first boyfriend has had all this control over you. Now you have to be your own person. You have to take over your own life. You have to be a woman. And you have to defend yourself.
Well, I'm just kind of, scared. I quit my job, and
Why?
I attempted to move out of... Well, just because, there was not only him calling and threatening me, I had other people calling, and...
Well, what you do is you say to him, this is going to stop, or I'm going to the police with this. And I would never do anything to you, but you're threatening to do something to me, so I will retaliate, and so it stops now. Tell him that. He's got to hear that.
Right.
All he's doing is trying to coerce you into going back with him. Do you want to go back?
Honestly, I still love him. I don't know that...
He's bad for you.
I know. See, I've everybody tells me that. And,
Well, come
my
on.
friends and my family, and, my family
Why don't you
has
listen?
disowned me for talking to him because they
Come
know
on.
that he's stolen my car. And,
I know. It's time for you to get your life together. I mean, when you don't have anything that means enough to you to quit your job out of fear. I mean, really, come on. You're 22. You should already be feeling some sense of who you are. And what you've done is this dependent relationship has only set you up to be a victim. It hasn't allowed you to grow. You need time to grow now. You're behind. Right?
Right.
Okay. So it's for you you're doing all this.
Well, I think, I know in my heart that I need to get over this, and I need to get over him, and
Decide. That's what you have to do. You have to decide. The moment you decide, you can let go. But you've never decided to let go. You've been toying with it for years, though, right?
right.
It's time.
I don't know, what's going on with he's out of jail now. He got out on bail,
Okay.
and I heard from him a couple times after, and he just kept saying, "Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it?" And I told him, that I had nothing to do with it, and I guess, he's telling everybody that, I had something to do with it, and everyone's saying, "Oh my God,
Okay,
you should
now
be,
you
should be hiding out and this and that." And
Okay.
I'm scared.
You're just repeating yourself. So this is what you say. You say, look, you keep it up, and I will do something about it. I'm not doing anything about it. I have not done anything about it. But if I did do something about it, I could put you away for years. I'm not doing that, so stop threatening me, or I will do that. The person who's out to damage you always reveals how you can damage them back. And the moment you say that, you know, you have to put down exactly what your thoughts and feelings are and put them on a tape recording and give them to someone and say, I've put down all this information and I put it in a locked place, and if anything happens to me, all of this is going to be known to the police. So you just leave me alone.
Okay, do you have any suggestions as to, I mean, any 12-step groups or anything I could, I mean, I really can't afford
For what?
counseling. Just to get over this. I mean,
Well,
I know I need to get over him, but it's just...
You need a relationship survivor workshop, and if you stay on, we'll find something for you. And you might also just do well in a therapy program too. But stay on, we'll get you a referral. Can you believe all this?
Amazing. We have, on line 14, we have Damon.
Do we have
who
time? Or do we have to?
He's HIV positive, and you would think that was enough, but it's not.
Aren't we going to go to a station break?
Not right now.
We're going to go right through it?
Right to Damon.
Boy, we're so brave. Damon? Damon?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
How old are you, Damon?
32.
What can I do for you, Damon?
Well, it seems that I'm HIV positive, and lately I've been...
It seems?
Oh, well, I am HIV positive, and I don't think I've ever dealt with it. Really, I mean, I know in the back of my mind that, you know, that I could die any time. And lately I've been getting some of the symptoms. I'm not sure. It's just I didn't go to the doctors because of fear.
Well, is anyone following you at all?
Well...
Are you on any medication?
No, not at all.
Why not?
I don't know. Good question. I really don't.
Damon, how long have you been HIV positive?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was tested about 3 years ago. Yeah, it will be 3 years. And at that time, my TC count was 980, which was kind of up there. It's not that... I know that's not really even what bothers me so much. I think what bothers me is the fact that a year ago my mom had passed away, and I never went to the funeral.
Why not?
Because the day before the funeral, my dad called and started giving me a hard time, and the thought of sitting in the limousine with him, going there, and it was, she had a really bad life with him, and I didn't want to create any problems, so I thought, you know, if I don't go, there won't be any fights, and just have a peaceful day.
Okay.
And so what happened was she made a new will prior to her dying and left me half her estate. And now my dad is trying to revoke it. And the reason why she left me this money was because she knew that I was HIV positive and that she wanted me to have some security in my life.
She loved you.
Yeah, more than I could ever imagine. Yeah, a great deal. She was very, very concerned.
Okay. Have you received the money?
No, it's going. He's been. He's holding it up in court. We're supposed to go in for a deposition.
Do you have a lawyer?
Yes.
Is he a good lawyer?
I don't think so. I think he's a good lawyer, and it's kind of complicated on how it's going. I think he has a problem, although he doesn't want to admit it, the fact that I'm gay. That issue has come up a couple of times. One of the reasons, supposedly, that my dad is fighting me on this is because he's scared that if something happens to me, that I will leave everything to my lover.
That's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm being mean or anything, but I would just like to have financial security and
That's what your mother wanted.
Right, and what's really frustrating is I'm in a relationship right now that, we love each other a great deal, and there's support there that I am extremely lucky in having. But he knows deep down inside that when I do get this money, it's not that I can stay in Southern California. I would have to leave because my dad's a very mean man, and I don't know what he'll do. It seems
Damon, you're 32 years old. You're acting irresponsibly towards yourself by not getting medical care.
Correct.
What you need to do is be sure that you have all the care that you need. You're going to need some help. I would suggest getting a therapist as well to work with you on some of the issues of asserting yourself so you can have a life free of the emotional conflict that comes in dealing with your father, who you never really liked. And you have to just face the fact that you're having a difficult time now. These are the good years, you know? And if drug treatment can make those good years extended and your health feel good so that you can be better at these times, then you really have to take advantage of it. But you need medical care, pal, and you need to be followed, and you cannot just ignore this. It's not going to go away. And you want someone you can call if you develop an infection, or you said you were starting to get symptoms. Like what?
Well, just I don't know if there's symptoms. It's really weird. My body just is. I'll get a sore on my leg, and within a week it will heal itself. It's just, you know.
What color sore?
It's more like kind of hard to explain. Almost like a whitehead. I'm extremely hairy, so it's almost like a whitehead that gets infected, but it heals itself.
All right.
And this is
So you're developing folliculitis. This is a sign that your immune system is not functioning terrifically. Come on, you need help.
Yeah,
Damon, get to a doctor. First of all, call the AIDS hotline and ask them for a referral to someone who really is up on this sort of thing, and let's do something about it. Okay. Good luck with this. You stay tuned. We'll be right back.